So, Age of Sigmar is struggling right now. Lots of competitive players are dropping from the game. We even have tournament players deciding to no longer play in tournaments. You've probably seen a lot of complaints out there about it. The game is struggling. It has a lot of balance problems that has even filtered down to casual play. The game's not that fun right now, and it's in a really tough spot. And what have Games Workshop done? Well, they've released a balance update for Age of Sigmar. And it is... oh boy, we're gonna need to talk about this. So this balance update is called The Hunt, and it is genuinely the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. And I've seen an adult fight a child over Pokemon stickers. The child won, by the way. But seriously, in the 20 odd years that I have been playing games of all sorts, tabletop, video games, you name it, I have never seen a stranger attempt to balance a game. So this update was introduced on the Warhammer community blog on the 14th of March with the following statement. It's an exciting time for Warhammer Age of Sigmar rules development. It sure is. We get to watch the Age of Sigmar balance team lose their mind in real time. This must be what it's like whenever the Joker takes over the airways in Gotham City to announce his next evil scheme. Boy, that must be a very exciting time to own a television in Gotham City. And the meat of this update, and I know that no one cares about Age of Sigmar, but I sort of do a little. The Predator and Prey update introduces a new core concept. How this works is that some armies, some units, they are being categorized as prey. And some other ones are being categorized as predators. And if your unit is really strong, if it's dominating the meta, if your army is incredibly powerful, it's being designated as a prey unit. And then if your unit is super weak, if it is pathetic, you can't win any games with it, then it's a predator. And the reason for this naming is that if you kill a prey with a predator unit, then you get more victory points, okay? So it's kind of convoluted. And obviously, the stronger unit being a prey and the weaker unit being a predator is kind of weird. It's kind of weird naming convention. Not very intuitive at all. I mean, the designers are clearly drinking resin here. But it's conceived as a way to balance the game. It means that weaker units score more victory points when they destroy stronger units. And there's some nuance here that I am skipping over, really, because I just don't have the time or the inclination. But suffice to say, Age of Sigmar basically operates by the rule of hot or not. Now, the community post for this update has massive how to draw an oil energy. I mean, if I can conceptualize this, basically this update says, if you're a weaker army, defeat your opponent who's stronger and get more points. Easy peasy. But how? How will I defeat my opponent, Games Workshop? You've missed the point of balance. I can't beat them. They're better than me. Why? You simply defeat your opponent in order to win. It doesn't matter if you give me more points. This is like putting me in the ring with Mike Tyson and saying, hate this course, you get $1,000 if you can knock out Mike Tyson. That's not a balanced encounter. I can't beat Mike Tyson. It doesn't matter how many rewards I get for that. I need bees or something on my side. I can't beat Mike Tyson. You could give me billions of dollars in order to knock out Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson gets in the ring with me, he's gonna knock me out. It's not a fair fight. It's not balanced. So why would you balance it that way? It doesn't make any sense. And these problems, these are obvious to anyone who has played any game ever at once in their life. Like if all you've played is Screwball Scramble, you could figure this out. This bit of Screwball Scramble is impossible to get past. Don't worry. You win the game if you do, but you can't win. It doesn't matter then. This update has emerged from a fundamental misunderstanding of how games work and what problems emerge from an imbalance. So just to be clear, imbalance is not some sort of philosophical quandary. It's not some sort of quality that arises. Something that outsiders remark upon and say, oh dear, I've heard it's not very balanced. Balance is not a marketing exercise. Balance is a problem when I come to a table to play a game of Age of Sigmar and I can't win because I have chosen an army that is not as viable as other armies. The problem isn't that other people will remark that it's imbalanced or there's not enough Beasts of Chaos armies winning tournaments. The problem is that if I'm a Beasts of Chaos player, I'm not having fun. It isn't fun to get your ass handed to you by an opponent who just simply has a better army. And the only way that I could have defeated them was by buying a different army. It's hard to call a game competitive when the only competition is in what units you bought before the game. And obviously, that's not enjoyable for anyone. It's not enjoyable for people who constantly lose because they picked up the wrong force, and it's not enjoyable for people who just constantly win. They just stomp over and over again. Well, it's fun for some people. Some people really enjoy that. I guess they're going to continue to buy massive armies of the latest, hottest units. And it's sad that that's the playstyle that is being catered to, but to be honest, I don't care how fun it is for Mike Tyson. I'm not going to have a fun in the ring with him, okay? I don't want to go there. And it means that I'm not going to learn boxing ever. If that's if that's my goal, if that's my destination. Mike Tyson is the only sparring partner that you can have. Want to learn boxing? No, I don't. I value my ears. And the thing is, this new rule, this predator and prey rule, it doesn't affect casual games at all. It has an impact on the tournament scene. Maybe. That remains to be seen. That is the point of this, I assume. It's hoped that because you will bleed more victory points to your opponent by bringing stronger units, you'll instead be tempted to bring more balanced units to a competitive tournament. In practice, I don't know. And I guess some Games Workshop employees didn't quite get the memo either. But I don't play Age of Sigmar in competitive tournaments. And the problems of balance in a casual game, you can't fix those with victory point adjustments. People will continue to bring the armies that they have. You need to fix those by balancing the units. Especially in a game like Age of Sigmar, miniatures games in general, they take a long time in order to get an army prepared and ready for the table. And to some extent, I think that this has probably been a part of the motivation for these changes, but it just means that ultimately we get to the table, nothing has changed. The game isn't balanced. There's nothing to address the problems. It feels like a performative gesture towards balance, as a salve to simply say that they're doing something. And after having read this community post with this update, there was a period of time where I thought that the Age of Sigmar balance team had collectively drank too much goblin juice and had just lost their minds. They'd just gone wild and decided to throw in the towel on balance. They just gave up. That's what I assumed for a while. But then I reread the announcement Warhammer community blog post. And in it, I caught the following. The team are trying something different to avoid clashing with points contained in the upcoming books. Aha! The secret is out. There it is. Our old friend, executive meddling. This predator and prey rule exists because they don't want to issue a real balance update to the game. They don't want to change points because, of course, that would get in the way of a new book release. There is a product to be sold, and already those unit profiles have been put in this new book. So they can't change anything in those new books because they would be selling a new book and already the unit profiles would be made redundant by this blog post. So rather than simply balance the game, the ability to sell a new product has taken precedent. And we know that if they could, the balance team would absolutely be updating the unit profiles. And we know this because every single other balance team for every single other game that can update unit profiles digitally does so. They all do it. Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, they are the big holdouts against the digital updating. And digital updates have caused problems in the past, but I guess the scope of this video, we can't really go into that. But here, in this moment, this predator and prey update, it is an inarguable instance where Games Workshop business model has had a detrimental impact on a game, on Age of Sigmar. It's just the most recent. But this doesn't matter to Games Workshop because, to quote the Joker, this is all part of the plan. Bottom text. And if you want to see more examples of executive meddling for Games Workshop, well, basically look at 2021 or my video on everything that Games Workshop did wrong in 2021, linked here. And if you want to help this channel break up that business as usual attitude from Games Workshop, please consider subscribing to the channel or checking out my Patreon as well, patreon.com/discoursminiatures. A big thank you to my patrons on the screen, especially to my Space Marine captains, Stephen Jackson and Earthwormia. Thank you guys. And as always, I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye! Games Workshop, Delenda Est.